Hey guys, RC here. We're back with episode 10. I was going to say the Dirty Dozen, but that wasn't going to be right. Well, unless we're talking about the Big 12 with 10 teams and the Big 10 with 12 teams, then maybe episode 10 is the Dirty Dozen. I don't know. It's that new math, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. All right. Well, we finished last week. We kind of looked. We got a little bit of what we were expecting. I wanted to remind you that we were changing our game plan a little bit. And the reason is I want to come in and see how this is affected by the quarterback run marker that we tweaked. See if that plays a role. Let's see. We have to go to the home because I haven't checked the email this week yet. We got Farmer the corner. Lopez went to Alabama. Damn, and they got on him late. That hurts my feelings. That shouldn't have happened, I don't think. I had over 100 points on him, and we were the only guy on him because remember, I came off and went to 7 points, and then Alabama was on him the next week. And how do I have 100 points on him and then lose him? Herman Doe goes to Pittsburgh. Ricky Angelo goes to Texas Tech. So that's fine. I've got 20 points left, 4 scholarships. Let's just kind of come down the list here. I don't know that I need another quarterback. I'm not going to go after him. Well, you know what? Let's schedule the interview and do some offers there. I'm not going to recruit them yet. I'm just going to scout them and see what they look like. Again, I'm just trying to find one of the guys that has that dual threat. Jamie Hargrove, right there. And we'll put 10 on him. Alright, that gets all that done. You know, I guess I'll go ahead and offer these guys. That'll get all the scholarships out. Let's go ahead and go up and run the week. Now remember, we're off this week, so the changes to the game plan we won't be able to evaluate. Excuse me. But we will be able to at least have that set up. So it's a light week all the way around. At least for the top 25. There's got to be some optimization that they can do to get that to run a little bit better late in the season. But you know, first release, you know, hopefully they, you know, that's something they can look at. I know nothing about coding whatsoever, so what do I know about that? But I have heard in other games that they talk about some coding, some optimization in the coding when you start having lag issues. Um, so um, you know, all right, let's go back to the home here. We're set up for the last week. I just want to take a look at my email. All right, we got the fullback. Culver went to Florida. Gomez went to Baylor. So I might have. All right, so my interview. Oh, here's a dual threat guy. All right. Exceptional speed, but only pedestrian agility. Amazing arm, mind-blowing intelligence, pedestrian accuracy. That's not great. So he's not going to be a great passer, but he does have that dual threat. All right. So let me pop my 10 points on him. I'm going to go ahead and do 20 points to max him out. Now, Bill Fiore is not a dual threat, but exceptional speed, same thing. Pedestrian agility, great, remarkable. We'll go ahead and pop 20, and we'll put 3. All right, so we have some interest, but that's the guy I want to try to get because he's a dual threat. Not ranked as high, but has the code kicker that I'm looking for because he'll be the only dual threat quarterback that I have on my roster. And I want to make sure I want to try to get one of those guys to see if that makes a big difference, which of course will carry over into next season. All right. Oh, depth chart. Depth chart. All right, so Augustine is back. Let's look at the Wishbone. Mahrez, Augustine, Muller. $18 for 24, 1.3. 13 for 31, 2.4. 22 for -4. Yeah, see, he has the better stats, but at least it appears to be for a running quarterback. But, oh, Mahrez, just to make sure, we have clicked the running back box for all of them, and that is still in effect. There we go. All right. So this is going back to our beginning of the season playbooks. Very, pretty much exact what we did in, like weeks 1 and 2 when we were first starting this. And now all we've done is we've ticked the that quarterback run box. Now I have gotten a couple of more things to try out for next season. I didn't want to try to cram too many changes to what we're attempting each week right here at the end of the season, but the actual head developer of the game, Brooks, and another guy, Oppenheimer, who's a guy that I know from our league, our online league community, gave me a couple of things to look at. So I've got a few other things that we want to look at next season. All right, we do not have and we lost. We lost the Bedlam Bowl. Oh my gosh. All right, well that's disappointing. 24 to 10. Wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting that, but they're 9 and 3, so I guess they're okay. 28 passes, 50 rushes. 28, 50. So those are pretty close. A little bit more of a drop in the run, but we lost the game, so we were probably behind and throwing the ball a lot more. 6.7 yards a pass, only 2.5 yards a rush, so that doesn't help us any, when we aren't getting the ball moving on the ground. All right, Smith, running back. All right, there's Mahrez, my quarterback. All right, so Mahrez had 12 carries this game. So in the two previous games combined, we had 4. And remember, with the quarterback box ticked on my custom playbook, he only had 3. So he actually carried the ball a significant amount more. Dove only had 10. Now, why did we go from a pretty even split? Well, if we go into the game analysis, remember in my custom playbook, it was everything was out of the wishbone, and we were having a lot of option rights, option lefts, which we discussed last video. Well, now we're running I formation, pro set, single back shotgun, single back spread. Look at all the spread because of the being behind. Wow. So you had a lot more limited on the wishbone. In fact, we only had 1 fullback dive. Okay, so there's a big difference. Hinkle had 1 carry. All right, so it really appears just okay. So we're at the end of the season. We're heading into a bowl game. I'm gonna just go ahead and let that sim out because at this point, what happens happens. But here's my thinking at this point. Based on what we've seen so far, to really get an option attack to work, you're going to have to do a custom playbook. But this last game has shown us that ticking off that quarterback run box will get your quarterback more rushing attempts. Now, let's go back into that game analysis again because we can actually see quarterback. Now, keeping in mind when the quarterback only had 3 runs, there are no quarterback designed runs in the wishbone. There's only the options. But if we come down here, I actually saw. All right, so we've got a quarterback draw, quarterback sprint left. Then we've got the option left, option right. So, we see some actual quarterback designations here. Option left, option right, all right in here. And that's out of the spread attack. So those are showing us that even in the spread, the quarterback has the ability to keep the ball, and there's also some designated runs to guarantee he gets the ball. Now, not necessarily what we want, but I can certainly see if we go into a custom playbook, we don't have to run everything out of the wishbone. We could add in some spread with some of those spread run option plays. But also what we're going to need to do is we're probably going to need to create some more pass-oriented attacks as well. So going with these default playbooks, not sure how well they worked or didn't work. I mean, your inkling is to say that they didn't work, but we actually used these a lot earlier in the season, right? Because we couldn't get the custom playbook to work early in the year. And I mean, look, when that was with a custom playbook, and then I think these, so I mean, we ran off a pretty good run there, 5 in a row at least, I think, using the default playbooks. 4 of those were road games. So I can't say with any conviction that the custom playbooks don't work. Also, I play with LSU in the online league with this game, and I went 11-1 last year, and I'm 6-1 this year using the default playbooks because I have not delved into the custom playbooks until this video series. So obviously they work pretty well, but now that's with a standardized attack where I get a lot of passing yards, just like you would expect today. So I don't think we can really draw any huge conclusions here. I think we've seen some things where we've gotten the option to work a little bit the way we want it to. Um, and then we've learned about that quarterback box, which I think we have now shown that you do get. What the heck was that cat? Sorry, my cat's on my desk and she's got a big scar patch on her neck from scratching, I guess. Ow. Anyway, no, they went on a 4-game win streak and the head-to-head jumped them over us in the standings. Ouch. Oh, we got both quarterbacks, and then we lost a quarterback to South Carolina. Which one was Mobley? Oh, we got the 5-star, the guy we'd been on since the very beginning. Awesome. And then Fiore. Was it Fiore or Mobley that was the dual threat? Oh no. My commits quarterback. Fiore? No. Oh man, you got to be kidding me. That's the guy I put 3 points on because I wanted the other guy. Mobley was the dual threat that I wanted. Oh no. Texas and South Carolina got on him this last week. Oh man. Close to home from Puerto Rico. South Carolina is closer. Oh, that is heartbreaking. That's the guy that I wanted. Well, I mean, I wanted that number 3 guy too, but you know, speaking of, he's not a pro bloodlines, great speed, remarkable agility. I mean, he'll be a good passer. He looks like he's got good running speed. So, this is a point. This is a case in point. You can see I am just unsure how to attack trying to recruit, because when you recruiting for this, there's a lot more layers that you need to try to get. You need to do the scouting, you need to do the interviews, you need to try to evaluate. But how do I do enough people? I mean, I signed 4 quarterbacks. How many people did I lose? Lost targets, that's 3, so that's 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 18 quarterbacks that I looked at this year. Now, he was a dual threat, I guess. Well, I never had the interest level from him. 18 quarterbacks and only 2 of them were dual threat. So, I'm not sure if there's a way that you can kind of get an idea before you start interviewing these guys and wasting all these points. I'm going to pose that question as well. So I'll put that question up to my buddy with Wolverine and see if he can give me any insight. It may be that there's not. My argument there would be, look, I can look at high school game tape and I can see stats. Now the thing I can't see on these guys, I can't see any of their high school statistics. If I could, then I could say, oh look, he's got 2 carries for his in his senior season. Oh, this guy's got 112 carries in his senior season, and that would be the indicator that he is a running threat quarterback. Now, he may not be a dual threat, but it does tell me that he has the ability to run the ball. I think you or I, as fans of the game, can figure out if a quarterback's a dual threat before he commits to a team or before a team interviews him. I mean, they just had the NFL Combine a couple of weeks ago. They were doing mock drafts a year ago, right after the last draft ended, right? So they already had some inkling based on game film and seeing players for 2 years, 3 years, whatever the case may be, to tell what kind of player they were going to be. Uh, there's got to be some kind of indicator to us. If there's not, I mean, the answer to that is if there's not, well, then there's just not. But, from a realism standpoint, that would not make a lot of sense. Now, of course, we're back to the issue is it's a game, not real life. But if I'm trying to recruit a particular player, how do I recruit 18 quarterbacks and sign 5 of them and only find 2 dual threat guys? I think that's very difficult to do. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I've got enough points. Where are we at time wise? 5.5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and do recruiting. We'll just find somebody. Another tight end. That's fine. All right. We don't have a game this week. We don't have a conference championship, which is the week that we're in. So we finish third overall. I guess you could look at their height and weight too. That would be a maybe an indicator. In fact, you know what? Let's real quick. Um, my hidden players, quarterback. All right, who's dual threat? All right, so he is 6 foot 195. 6'4", 211, 6'3", 206, 6'2", 197, 6'2", 199, 5'11", 186. So you would think he might be a dual threat, but he's not. But if we're going off of height and weight, out of all these, there's only 2 or 3 that that would meet that criteria. Dual threat, 6'1", 200, so that's actually a little bit bigger. 6'2", 200, so that 2 out of those 3 guys. And then my commitments, too tall, too tall, too tall. I would say none of these guys would be. So maybe it's something in that 6 foot, 200-pound range or under. Those are the guys. So let me make a note of that, and those will be the guys we try to recruit next year. 6 foot, 200 pounds, and we'll try to recruit scout maybe 10 of those, 10 or 15 of those guys, and see how many of them show up as dual threat. So that'll be a test criteria I want to try for next year. Let's go ahead and run the week. Let's see what happens for us for a bowl game. So conference championships will be this week. I just run out of stuff to say in that lull between between games. Um, that's actually one of the harder things when I've started to do these videos is actually trying to figure out what to say, and it's probably why you hear me go a lot, and you go, man, he's not very well spoken. I speak for a living. I'm a sales manager. I'm in outside sales, and I talk all day every day, and then I come home and I talk all night on the videos. So I think I speak pretty well. But I just, when I'm doing this, I just kind of tend to lose a little focus when I'm just kind of grasping for things, and I'm just not sure what to say. All right, let's see. Did we get a bowl invite? Well, we signed that tight end, so that's good. And I didn't get an email notification if we made a bowl game, so I don't know. We'll have to go look. I hope I didn't get left out with 10 wins. That would really freak me out. Plus being number 9 in the country, that would really freak me out. Okay, so the final 4 for the playoffs is Louisville, Utah, Texas Tech, and Florida State. Wisconsin, Michigan State, Ohio State right on the outside looking in. We're number 9. And there we are. We got Tulane in the Nectarine Bowl. That's certainly one thing I hope that they do change in the future is the ability to edit the bowl games. I don't think that there's a option to do that. If there is, I don't know how to do it. I don't mess with these CSS editors. So I will be fully dependent on somebody else to come up with that. I would very much believe that it will be similar, that it will not overwrite a pre-existing game like we saw with the logo packs and everything, but who knows. Well, let's go ahead and put a cut in here. We'll come back in the next episode. We'll play the bowl game. We'll catch our end of the year evaluations, see what our recruiting class looked like, and then we will start moving into next season and working towards trying out some of the new things that have been suggested that we look at as well. So thank you for your time. I hope the season has been good for you. I hope we've learned a little bit about trying to run an option attack. I think it's doable. It takes a little bit of work and a little bit of kind of playing around with it and trying to get the information, so it's not as intuitive as maybe it could be or should be, but it's not impossible. So I think that is the conclusion we can come to from this year. But as I said, I already have some ideas as far as recruiting quarterbacks for this system next year I want to try out. And then we also have a few things to look at from a standpoint of the options and the settings as well that I've been told to kind of tweak. So we'll come back. We'll look at those in season 2. We'll come back in the next one and knock out the rest of this season. Thank you for joining along on this year-long journey with Oklahoma and the option attack. And we'll see you next time. Take care.